Let's install a bathroom vanity. As you know, the first thing we need to do is remove the old sink. I'll explain to you what the procedure is. First, it is normal that the old sink has silicone that attaches it to the wall. With a cutter we go through all the space where the silicone is, and that's how we're removing it. We can have silicone in more places, because the joint between the pedestal and the sink can have it exactly the same. We go through with the cutter and cut. Finally, sometimes we can also find that the pedestal with the floor has either silicone or very frequently white cement. If it is silicone we cut, and if it is white cement, when we move the pedestal, it will be released on its own without major problem. The first thing is to cut off the water supply from the stopcock. To start dismantling things, we're going to release the hydraulic hoses. We have emptied the tap, but for caution, in your house, when you do this procedure, put a bucket under it, because inside the hoses there is water. Once we have released the hoses, we are going to loosen the sink a little from its fixings, so that we can move the pedestal and also start to disassemble the drain. To release the screws it is advisable to use an open-end wrench, but if we use a socket wrench it will be much easier to work in difficult spaces. As we are already down here, we can take advantage of it, and release the faucet with a tubular box spanner. Finally let's remove and release the bathtub drain. Once all the elements are loose, we can take out the sink. When you do so, always be careful to hold the sink with your other hand while you move the pedestal because otherwise it may fall over. This is the floating vanity we're going to install. As usual it comes assembled, so it comes in a large box so you don't have to worry about any kind of assembly like furniture kits. I'm going to remove the box and explain how to install it. This is a floating bathroom vanity, and what is essential to know in a suspended furniture is that there are some brackets that you have to place well because they have to support all the weight. It includes some legs. You're going to see them now. But they are some false legs. They are legs that are not really necessary because all the weight is going to be carried by these mechanisms that I'm going to show you now. This is the plate on which the brackets are going to be placed. These are adjustable brackets that will allow us to adjust the vanity both in height and in approximation to the wall. To do this, by turning this screw, the furniture gains or loses height accordingly. Look, when I release it, what I do is increase its height. What should I do? Leave it in a position that allows me to work with it to regain the height and to level it well. This other screw is the one that brings the support closer or further away. When I am going to place it, what is interesting is to lengthen it as much as possible to be able to install it without any difficulty on the top of firm and on the plate, and then tighten it so that it is securely fastened. This is the mechanism that we have to adjust well. We are going to take the measures to place the plates in the appropriate place, inside the cabinet, and to be able to hang the vanity. But before, as we want to know exactly the right height, remember I told you that the piece of furniture has legs, that although they are not essential to hold the weight, they are very useful to give us the height, so it is the first thing we are going to put. We're going to assemble the legs and then we continue to assemble the piece of furniture. Only two things. One, the legs go through the front, which is where it will serve as a certain reinforcement to the hung furniture, and the second, we are not going to place them at the edge, we will make them a little more decorative and we're going to put them a little inward. That the second one fits in the measure. As we already have the legs, we know the height of the furniture, so we can put it next to the wall and place the plates. We have already placed the bathroom vanity. Look at one detail. These are things that sometimes happen. In this case, for example, to place the plate well, as we have the water intake, we have to move the whole cabinet a little bit to one side. That will force us to have the drain shifted. But don't worry, you're going to see how for this, as for almost all things, there is a solution. Let's mark the plate in its place. Always remember, as I told you before, to leave the anchor at halfway up so that it is well balanced. Now we can remove the vanity and make the drills. It is perfectly placed. We just need the anchors to be in place. Let's do it. First we remove the longitudinal part of the anchor, so that it can be moved freely, and we can rest it. Now since it's well placed, let's get it down. Then once we level them, we'll see if we have to go up or down a little bit. For the moment we're going to leave it this way and we're going to pull it to tighten a little bit and keep it well fastened. When we're making this move, we're making it retract and that fits well at the edge of the plate. Now that the cabinet is already well adjusted, let's check that the level is correct. Let's put the covers on the bracket. We have the sink here and I have adjusted the two faucet anchors and the hydraulic hoses. Let's place it in its position, leaning against the wall and handling it carefully. This is important. We need to leave the sealing gasket under the tap, to prevent water from leaking. This rubber gasket has the function of preventing the metal sheet from going directly against the porcelain. Don't tighten it completely because we're not sure in what position the tap is staying. We'll see that later. Let's also take advantage of it to put the bathtub drain. This is the same thing. Don't make it a permanent fixture. We simply do it around here because it is more comfortable to place the screws in the other parts. Once the upper part is well placed, we adjust it properly. Let's put the sink in its position. Before doing so, something necessary, which we will not do, in case we have to remove it again to show something more careful, is to give a layer of silicone that covers the entire edge of the furniture. This way it will be much better supported on a translucent silicone. Now we can adjust the faucet from below and hold the bathtub drain well. I told you that sometimes we have a problem, which is to have, as in this case, the drain shifted. This is the kind of pipes we can use to solve these problems. It's a flexible tube. We can give it more or less length. It has an accordion system. It comes with a trim ring. This is the part that will go to the wall. But before you put it, we will always pass the gasket with a thread, which will allow us to tighten it directly to the bathtub. as it will be placed directly inside the drain. What we have to do is always apply a PVC glue to it so that it is perfectly glued. When we glue PVC, you know that the first thing is to clean it with a special PVC pipe cleaner, or another solution is to sand it a little bit. Let's first pass the trim and apply some adhesive on the entire surface. You see that the mechanism is like this, adjusted. It does not take up space, and although it is a little shifted, it doesn't matter because it is flexible. Here we have our bathroom vanity ready and assembled. We need to take out the tools and put the complements to finish. A mirror and the light wall sconce. We already have our mirror leveled. Now we can remove it and place the sconce because we already know it is in its place. So with this, our installation is ready and the vanity is finished. Finally, do not forget to put silicone between the piece of furniture and the wall. Thanks for your like and for subscribe to our channel. And share this video with all your friends who like DIY.